And welcome into High Top Sports Network for this baseball preseason preview. My name is Joe Rhodes. Joining me today is head coach of the Armstrong River Hawks, Vinson Santelmo. Vinny, welcome aboard.
Hello, how you doing, Joe?
Good to see you, and good to see you back on a local diamond here. Vinny, it's obviously your first year. I've had some past experience with you, obviously, with your coaching here in the area. But obviously, this is certainly a different kind of a situation now, being the head coach of a varsity baseball team, that being the Armstrong River Hawks. So, take me through briefly the first few, I guess, months. Certainly, there's some months that have gone into this, but the first few weeks and certainly the first two scrimmages that you guys have gotten under your belts here thus far.
To first start off with, when I first got the job, one of the first things I wanted to do was get the players in the weight room. I think it's real important, with sports these days, especially for us to compete at that 5A level, that we got to get bigger, faster, and stronger every year. So at the end of September, we started. We had 20 plus players showing up to lifting 3 days a week. And then I know a lot of the players also have memberships up at that 24/7 gym up at the mall. And I know they also lifted additionally, on top of what we did. And you could definitely tell once we started inside and we started hitting, with strength, that speaks for itself, when it comes to hitting, being able to drive the ball. And past two scrimmage games, we've had some guys hit some deep balls. Braden Wright had a couple really nice hits in the past two scrimmages. I know the one he hit the left center, hit the base of the fence. Hayden Brink hit some really hard shots, had a nice line drive in those games. But definitely tell the pop on a lot of the players' bats, even from going into practicing, once we got out in the field and seeing the way they were able to drive the ball into the gaps, left center, right center. I think we got a lot of guys that can really get it done this year. Caden Rupert, very strong kid, quick hands. I think we're going to see a lot of doubles and triples out of him this year. Logan Badak, Hayden Brink, Dustin Coleman, Zach Wiles. Really pleased at the effort and the time that's been put in, starting back in September. And it's been the whole way up through until about mid-February. And then we kind of backed off lifting a little bit, and the players have taken it upon themselves to continue to lift at other locations because we needed to practice more, with the optional practices that we're allowed to have in January and February to get us prepared to start the season. I think we got a real good start. We got 2 wins under our belts. We had Lower Borough on Wednesday. I think it showed a lot of character coming back, being down a few runs. Mason Schreckengoss came up big in the Lower Borough game, hitting that triple. And then we had Zach Wiles come up and hit the line drive that gave us that walk-off win there. And then on Thursday, combination of, quite a few different players. Caden Rupert had a nice game. He had a double. He had a single. Braden Wright had another good game. He had 2 more hits in that game. We're getting what I want to say, aggressive on the base running, and we want to apply pressure on the other team's defense this year. We want to do a lot of fake bunt steals, bunting when needed to be. In the game on Thursday, I subbed in Nick Kinner. Nick is a sophomore this year. Asked him to come in that inning and lay down a bunt for us. We were looking just to move the runner over, and he laid down a perfect bunt and ended up getting a base hit out of it. So those things are big in the later innings. Fifth, sixth inning of a game. And we were able to push that run across the board, so that gave us an additional run. For being able to beat Knock on Thursday.
You said something really interesting before we hopped on here about the team. You said that it's their team, it's the players' team, but you're just there to steer the ship. It seems like that's something that's important to you and at the foundation of your coaching and how you're going to coach this year. So with that in mind, and maybe some other things, what is your foundation, and what are the kind of the core values of your coaching philosophy?
Like I told these kids all along, this is your team. We're here to coach you. We're here to kind of steer the ship, teach you the mechanics, show you the right way this game should be played. And it's up to you guys to put the work in and execute. And they've done that so far. They've put a lot of work in, grinding. I know it gets boring in the gym, hitting off a tee, day after day after day, and hitting in the cages and not being able to get outside. And so whenever we can get outside, we're getting outside. And I think it all starts too with senior leadership we have on the team. We have 4 seniors: Hayden Brink, Caden Rupert, Dustin Coleman, and Logan Glinski. They all work hard, and they're setting good examples for the rest of the team. And looking for Hayden Brink and Dustin to be, our 2 top pitchers this year. And hopefully they eat up a lot of innings for us this year. And then we can use the other guys on our staff. Kind of got a younger staff, after we get past the seniors. We don't have a lot of guys that have a lot of varsity experience at that level, but they've done well so far. I've got no complaints.
Certainly having a Brink and Coleman as your 1-2 is a benefit, I'm sure, to you as a coach, knowing that's those are guys in the arsenal that you can go to first and foremost. Would you say then that pitching is maybe the strength of this club heading into the 2023 campaign?
So far, it has been. The first 2 games that we've played, we've got 14 innings in, and we only have given up 1 earned run. The other runs we've given up have all been unearned. Made some mistakes, which I expected. I expected we were going to make some mistakes. It's going to be that way. Getting out there the first couple times, but I'm hoping that our hitting starts clicking here pretty quick, because I think we're going to have a pretty good lineup with the guys that we have.
Go ahead. Sorry.
We got a mixture of guys with some speed. We got Zach Wiles, it's pretty quick. Caden Rupert, Ian Harkerode. Those guys are probably the 3 quickest players we have on the team. Then with Coleman, Brink, Mason Schreckengoss, he's come up big in the first 2 games of the season. With him being a junior, getting some of that varsity experience. He's come up clutch. He's come up big. Twice. He's came up both games with runners on base, and has been able to come through with some big hits for us. Then also, Braden Wright has done very well. I used him the past 2 games in the scrimmage as an extra hitter. So he's going to be our DH going into the season, because we're going to need that stick in the lineup. Logan Badak, I think he's going to be another power hitter for us. He's going to do very well. And Hayden Brink, probably number 1 on the staff, but he's one that can change the score with 1 swing. So we got a couple of those guys. So it's nice to have a couple of those guys on the team that if they get their pitch, that they can change the outcome of the game pretty quick.
Yeah, most certainly. And, it's an added benefit when that same guy can go out there and pitch 7 scoreless for you as well, I'm sure.
Correct. Yes.
What's maybe the biggest and most pleasant surprise that you've encountered here thus far being around the group?
I'd say the biggest surprise is we've had some freshmen and sophomores really step up, because I have watched them play a little bit, but really wasn't around them a lot. Um, we're going to have a sophomore. It's going to be starting at shortstop, Jacob Bowser. If you'd have told me that at the beginning of the season, I would have said, I'm not sure about that,
Yeah.
but he's done very well, worked hard, listens, very coachable, have no complaints. And Rory Prashear, he's done really well. We've been able to pitch him in between Hayden and Dustin, so righty, then lefty, then back to righty. And him being a freshman, he's not going to have the velocity of a senior, but he just went out and did his job, threw strikes, kept the hitters off balance, and I think that's a good combination. Various speeds and righty, lefty, righty. I like that. And Brian Wright has also, as a sophomore, he's been able to step up, and he's gotten better every time he's taken the mound so far this year. So there was some surprises that I wasn't sure. It's hard for a freshman to compete at the varsity level, especially in 5A. So hopefully he continues his success and is able to help the team out, through the rest of the year.
As we near the kickoff to the season and first pitch to the 2023 season, what are the goals, if you guys have officially kind of set any of those or discussed those in terms of the big picture? What are those goals, and what's it going to take for you guys to achieve those goals?
2 goals. Want to be competitive in every game, and we want to get to the playoffs. We want to turn this program around, and we want to get in the playoffs, because if you get hot at the right time, anything can happen in a game of baseball. Any team can beat any team on any given day. And that's 2 main goals: play hard, play with heart, and be competitive. That's the message we've been sending to the team all along. And playoffs.
How do you achieve that goal, knowing that you guys are in a new section this season with the likes of Franklin Regional, Penn Trafford, Plum, Gateway, the list goes on. How do you guys navigate those waters to achieve that goal?
It's gonna be tough sledding. Our margin of errors have got to be very minimal. We've got to be able to make the routine plays, and then we're also going to need to have to make some tough, and I'll say it, spectacular plays. We're going to need really good pitching out of our number 1 and number 2. They're going to have to go deep in the games for us, to keep us in it, because that is it's a tough section. Woodland Hills went out, Mars went out, Hampton went out, and then the 3 teams that came in have all great programs. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. We're going to have to have really good defensive play and really good pitching, and we're definitely going to have some hitting, and probably some timely hitting. If we get bases loaded and guys at second, third, and less than 2 outs, we better be scoring those guys, because we can't waste those opportunities, especially on Frank's, Franklin Regional, Penn Trafford. Those guys, they're good, really good programs. Plum, another good program. So we're going to have all that come together.
You mentioned earlier that only 1 earned run thus far in those first 2 games, but more runs scored than that, obviously coming off a couple errors. Would you say that kind of, becoming a little more clean defensively is the one area that you want to see the team overall sort of clean up the most?
Yes. Played Wednesday. We did pretty well. Played Thursday much better. We ended up having 2 double plays on Thursday. The first double play was 4-6-3. We had Dustin Coleman, who had played third base a lot last year. We had moved him over to second, so he's going to be playing a lot of second base this year. And Hayden Brink was at short, and Logan Badak was at first base. Strength of your team is, you want to be strongest up the middle. And we felt by moving Dustin over to second, that's going to make us really strong up the middle with our pitching. And also we have Ian Harkleroad in center field, and he can cover a lot of ground out there. He's gonna catch a lot of fly balls for us. And the other double play we had was a line drive hit to left field. Zach Wild's got a really good jump on it, caught the line drive, and was able to throw the runner back out at second base. He didn't make it back in time. So those plays like that, we're going to need those plays. We're going to need them, to beat Plum, to beat Penn Trafford. Those plays are going to happen.
I'm sure it's certainly exciting for you to be in charge of this program and knowing a lot of these guys, dating back to your past experience as coaching. I'm guessing you're pretty excited here with the season, just obviously a few days away. And what's going to be your message, before you send those guys out there on the field or up to the plate for the very first time when the season does kick off? What's your last message and going to be to them, and what's going to be at the core of that message?
Message is going to be, leave it all out in the field. Don't ever end up coming back in and say, I wish I would have ran it a little harder. I wish I would. No, leave it all out in the field. And when it's our plate and our time to step into the box, be confident, own the box. Just about any hitting coach you talk to, they say 80% of hitting is between ears. So those guys need to believe in themselves. They've gotten the right training. They all have great mechanics. Now the other thing is going to be execute. If we execute the way we should and the way I think we can, I think we're going to have a very successful season.
Certainly, the program has had past playoff berths already to their name, but sort of few and far between. So I'm sure, being a part of that and having a hand in getting this team back to the playoffs, certainly something you're very passionate about and something you want to see happen sooner rather than later.
Correct. I think it will be a great boost to this program. Getting back into the playoffs, and then hopefully that's the start of something big that we can continue to do that. And then just every year build on top of that, gain more experience. None of these players on these teams, have ever been into the playoffs. So it's all new for them. So I'm hoping that we can get accomplished this year, and then the underclassmen will have experience next year. So if we get in again next year, it always helps to have some of that experience under your belt, because there's going to be butterflies. They're going to be nervous. It's going to happen. Even though we played a couple scrimmages games even to start the season, and we have Indiana on Tuesday and we have Freeport on Friday. It's still the same once you start that section. There's going to be butterflies, and there's going to be guys that are going to be hyped up. I'm sure I'm going to have a talk with Hayden Brink. Relax. Don't try to throw the ball through the backstop. Just chill, throw your game, and let your defense do their work.